Welcome to the CYBERTEC Migrator Standard Edition. I will show you a quick walkthrough of a migration. The below shows the landing page of the newly created migration for the HR schema. The migration page is divided into 4 areas. On the top, we have a header providing the minimal information about the migration, its name, source, and target database. Hovering with the mouse over the migration name will show a tooltip with the migration description. The main area shows a tab page. Entering into a migration shows the overview tab, providing concise information about the source database. On the bottom, we have access to the log and search views. On the left, we have the sidebar providing access to detailed information about the source database objects as a tree structure. We can filter the database objects by object name, object type, or a combination of both. Selecting the Stages tab will lead you to the heart of our migrator. If you would like a 3-letter acronym, I would call it the MCE, Migration Control Environment. This is a place where you run, change, and resume and replay a migration. Select the Start button, which, you guessed right, starts the migration. Starting migration job will automatically open the log view and follow the log messages showing what's currently happening. Migrating the HR schema, we end up with an error at the logic stage. In the default settings, starting a migration executes all the stages until it succeeds with a complete migration or it reaches the first error. In our example, the migrator executed structured data and integrity stages, successfully hitting an error in the logic stage on migrator procedure HR add job history. This means our PostgreSQL demo database contains the migrated tables with the data, constraints, and indices. Note that all DBOs in the log view are hyperlinked. Selecting the hyperlink for procedure HR add job history opens the code editor for the stored procedure. Hyperlinking error messages to the causing DBO saves me at least a couple of weeks of work each year. The screen below shows the code editor of the erroneous procedure. Let's change the code in the editor by replacing is begin with language SQL as $$ and end job add job history with $$ without double quotes. Selecting show difference shows the difference between the original Oracle code and the changed procedure code. Save the changes by selecting the Save button, which persists the changes we just made in the migrator's internal database. Leave the editor and go back to the Stages tab by selecting the up arrow on the top of the page near the migrator name. The migration controls provides us with the following options: resume, rerun, start. We want to resume the migration where it was stopped due to the first error, and then select resume. To avoid the resume, show error, fix error cycle over and over again, we disable abortion stage on the first error. This will execute the stage until it ends and report all detected errors. This will create the fixed procedure but leave us with errors in another procedure review and trigger. Let's go to the screen below and fix the remaining errors. Switch back to the log view and select the View HR detailed view link, which opens the code editor with the erroneous view. Scroll to the bottom and remove the last line with read only, which has no equivalent in PostgreSQL. Select the erroneous DBO procedure HR secure DML in the log view. Let's assume we are not interested in migrating this procedure and exclude it from the migration by enabling exclude in the editor's upper right corner. The sidebar shows the exclusion of the procedure with secure DML crossed out. The screen below shows an error near the call to add job history. PostgreSQL is picky when calling a function with no return value. So let's change the code to perform add job history. This will lead to the editor complaining about a syntax error at or near a colon. :old, :new, respectively, are unknown variables in PostgreSQL data triggers. Since this shows up multiple times, we're going to use the search and replace functionality. On the bottom of the migration window, open the search view. We're going to use regular expressions to replace all occurrences of :old with old and :new with new, respectively. Select the regex mode by selecting with the star and search for :new, old. This uses regex capture groups to capture the parameter $1, which we use as a replacement, removing the colon. In the HR schema, we only have one trigger function, so not much to replace. Select replace all fixes the rest of the errors in the trigger function. Now we save our changes and resume the execution. You can try the floating migration control on the right side of the screen to resume the migration. It is handy when you don't want to return to the Stages tab. Congratulations, you just migrated your first database using the CYBERTEC Standard Migrator. If you go back to the migration page, all the stages will show up green. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. We are happy to help.